back, listeners, to Mind Over Matter, the podcast where we explore the stories of resilience, transformation, and success. I'm your host, Sana, and today's guest is someone who not only built a thriving IT company, but also underwent an incredible personal transformation. Listeners, joining me today is Brett Gallant, founder of Adaptive Office Solutions and also a cybersecurity expert with over 25 years in the IT industry. Now, a little bit about Brett's journey. It's is one of both business as well as personal evolution. And he has helped countless businesses secure their technology infrastructure. And at the same time, he's also undergone a personal transformation, losing 100 pounds and reshaping how he leads and lives. Well, we are going to dive into his early days in IT and what led him to start Adaptive Office Solutions and how he balances everything entrepreneurship, cybersecurity, and personal well being. So, listeners, whether you are an aspiring entrepreneur, tech enthusiast, or someone looking for inspiration to reinvent yourself, this conversation is definitely for you. So, Brett, welcome to the show, and it's an absolute honor having you with us.
Thank you. It is a great pleasure to be here, and I truly believe in sharing who I am, and hopefully, with our conversation will inspire people, because along my journey, countless people have inspired me, and I believe we're all put on this earth to serve and help others, and that's the meaning of my life, to serve. So.
Definitely, definitely. That's really a great beginning to this conversation. And Brett, of course, what exactly sparked your um, curiosity or early curiosity in the IT industry? Also, if you can share about your first job or challenges once you entered into the IT field.
I, I think we could go in so many directions, but
Yeah.
I think where I really realized there was a calling to be in this industry was, back in the '90s. I was in college, and I was partaking in a course called International Software Marketing and Publishing, and um, I was given a few books that really inspired my personal growth journey, but what was really interesting is one of the instructors, the marketing instructors, said, Brett, you really should consider getting into systems." And that resonated with me, and, in fact, it sparked that idea. I can go back earlier too. When I was a child, I would, work on, a Commodore VIC-20 or in Amiga and programming, and I even operated the precursor to the internet,
Wow.
electronic bulletin board systems. But that was when I realized, yeah, maybe I should look into this. Maybe this is worth exploring. And so I did. I had this opportunity to work for a fabulous, construction fabrication company. In fact, it was a real pivotal moment, Santa. I I had decided that I needed to make a change. My career wasn't going anywhere. I was a young man in early 20s, and I found out this company was looking to hire somebody, but I had made a decision that I was going to go, out to Western Canada. I live in Canada, and I said, "I'm gonna go out there with, 2 friends and work in the oil sands," uh, and I found out this position was available, and I applied, but I said, "Hey, I need to know by Sunday," and I had interviewed on Friday, "if you are going to move ahead with me. Otherwise, I'm driving to Western Canada." Fortunately, uh, they realized that they had a good thing, and I recognized I had a good opportunity with a great company. And Sunday evening, they called me, and that transformed my life in terms of working in this field. And I worked for that construction fabrication company, uh, for over 14 years before I decided to, uh, take that leap of faith and form my company.
Wow. 14 years. Yeah, that's a long one. That's really long one. I think this was way before internet became something, mainstream. Um,
Well, it was, like, when I started with the construction fabrication company, there were 2 emails, and we shared the, dial-up internet, and then I helped evolve the company that everybody had email, and we had high-speed websites, and I seen the whole industry transform, where we used to send interoffice mail between the 2 offices, where we became more of an interconnected society, leveraging email and sending files and working with the on-site presence where we were doing nuclear refurbishment projects, oil and gas, where we had computers on site where there was used to be only one to having multiple computers connected back to the back office. So I've witnessed, and like we all have, I witnessed the transformation in how we leverage technology.
yeah, that must be so wonderful. And it's amazing to see how a simple interest can actually turn into a full-fledged career. So thank you for sharing your journey with all of us, Brett. And also, let's talk about the latter half. Right after your 14-year stint and your construction application company, you founded Adaptive Office Solutions in 2010, I believe.
Yep.
So, what was the turning point that made you decide to start your own business instead of, maybe going into the upper levels of, or maybe going into the leadership position in the ID role?
Or I've always had my entrepreneurial story, even when I was younger. I was always working for myself, even and driven to find ways to earn a living. But what was really interesting, I helped a real estate firm in 2007 with setting up their office so they could watch a Brian Tracy webinar. And Brian Tracy, in the part of the presentation, he said, "Hey, I want you to take 3 minutes and write down your goals. Write down 10 goals for what you want." And I did that. I I I was invited to participate in watching the webinar with the team, and I'm very grateful that I had that opportunity. I wrote down my goals, and I found my goals last year that I had written down, and goal number 4 on that list was by April 1st, 2010, I will own a successful IT company. And what was really interesting, I before I was preparing to go up on stage and speak to an audience, I was talking about that story, and I held that very same book with my goals. I said, "Guess what day I formed Adaptive Office Solutions? April 1st, 2010."
Yeah,
So,
it will mark 15 years of your
yeah. And so that that made me realize, and I still recognize I write down my goals and I touch them 2 to 3 times a day,
Mhm.
because goals help you get to where you wanna be.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'm very much a person that's driven by goals and stretching myself and being the best version of myself and getting getting comfortable being uncomfortable. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, I started my company, with high hope and high expectations. I told, my wife, and I had a discussion. We very young family, I had 2 children at the time, and I said, "I have to try this." Like Wayne Gretzky says, one of my favorite is the famous hockey player. He says, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." So I decided to take my shot, and I left this great company, which I was very happy, and great organization. I left it with that dream of starting my company, and it was a wild ride of just initially with just me to a robust team today. So
Mm. Wow, wow. I think, you said it rightly. You enjoy the comfort of being uncomfortable because in entrepreneurship and business, we often talk about the hustle, the the passion with which, you have to be always, you have to show up for yourself and for your team, for the entire company as well, because your company is what you are. It's a kind of projection of you. So,
Yeah.
uh, of course, I mean, I can absolutely relate to that, energy which comes when you face your challenges. You have tricky situations, but then that's the learning curve. I think everybody.
It's yeah, what really hits home to me, I heard this expressed a different way in the last year. Everything you ever wanted is on the other side of fear. And a lot of times we hold back on taking that step for going after our dream,
Mhm.
but we have to take that shot and take a step because with great, getting uncomfortable on the other side of that is great opportunities, not only for yourself, but for your community, for your loved ones, for your family, being the best version of you and continuing elevating and trying new things and taking like I said with Wayne Gretzky, take that shot.
So right. Also, Brett, cybersecurity is at the heart of what you do now. So, with so much, evolution, fast evolution in the tech industry, what we are seeing right now, especially post pandemic and with AI and everything, and also
Mhm.
data privacy, data security at the core of all the discussions around um, how companies or the tech should be cognizant of the fact that it's all connected to humans. What cyber threats? How do you stay ahead of all the trends, and how do you ensure your clients are protected?
So, um, I'm very much a creature of believing of lifelong learning and surrounding yourself with the right team and and investing in your team. So I go to quite a few events and we invest in the products and we evolve our cybersecurity stack tools that we use. And so it's continually investing in yourself, investing in your team and technologies. So, for example, we use among many things, many tools, but we're we use a security operations center, uh, technology and password management tools and advanced threat hunting. But we're switching our product, for our vendor for the SOC to another tool. Nothing wrong about the other technology we're using, but we saw another opportunity with another piece of technology that worked a little bit differently, more intuitive, and and so we're always on that journey of looking at the the tools and the technology and the team because the tools and the technology that got you where you are today may not be the tools or the technology or the people that will get you to where you need to be tomorrow. So we're constantly looking at that and 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 growing and evolving. So those are key things. Does that answer your question?
Definitely, definitely. And
Yeah.
you mentioned about the right thing, that how important is continuous learning, because uh, with so many rapid changes happening, I think every day we are seeing some or the other, new trends or new changes in the tech. So I think, you have to be very proactive in understanding the security measures.
And that's core of the name of my company, adaptive, be adaptable, adaptive office. Um, you mentioned earlier in a moment ago about the pandemic and we went through the pandemic, but I also I was talking about this with some colleagues in this industry a couple of days ago. We were talking about the cyber pandemic. There's a pandemic right now in cyber when you think about it, because uh, 10% of businesses are getting hacked, and unfortunately, if you have a hack or ransomware, generally, if you don't have to report it, businesses are not reporting it. And the cost of these hacks are going up, and it's affecting livelihood of millions of people. And so I'm on this journey to be doing my part to educate people because uh, unfortunately, there are some people in our teams and organization that are living from paycheck to paycheck, and some of them are only 2 paychecks away from being homeless or being, something devastating happening if they don't have a steady income. So collectively, I think it's more important now that we realize that we're all in this together. So if we all start doing our part to manage our cyber risk,
Mhm.
then we can start to make an impact, even though the challenges like you alluded to earlier are real. Like with the reality of AI and what's happening, I've changed some of the things I communicate to my clients. I used to say, if you're speaking, I speak to the controller, the finance person, and the CEOs, and I used to say, make sure you do a face-to-face meeting either through Zoom or in person before you authorize a change in wiring or banking information for a client. Now I say, because of AI, because deep fake and AI can impersonate somebody, I say, please, if you hear one message from me today, make sure that you have a code word that the two of you, the finance person, the CEO, knows so that it can mitigate that possibility of AI impersonating somebody. Because AI will not know that word that you've shared with each other. Sometimes in the reality, sometimes we have a phone call or meet, through Teams or Zoom. So I've added that to the message I share with uh, with professionals and business owners.
Mm. That's really a great example. Great example. But
Yeah.
a few years back we had deep fake. Now we have AI impersonating a whole person, same voice and all mannerisms.
Yeah.
It's-
Yes, it's incredible, isn't it? So,
It is. It is.
yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and I think not only small or medium businesses, but large enterprises are very much prone to data leaks or hacks. Um, and we have seen multiple cases, where private data of the customers have been leaked, email IDs, home address, I don't know what else. Everything has been leaked. So I think it's such a crucial point, and businesses should actually proactively should start taking seriously, about cybersecurity.
Right, and that's so true. A gentleman in a conference, he said it this way, and I found it amusing, but it was true. He said, "Don't let your cybersecurity plan be like an ostrich. Don't keep your head stuck in the sand."
Oh.
And and that is so true. And so if we at least take some action and do some of the minimums, like if your audience does like it really considers the fact of investing in a password management tool and having two-factor authentication and a backup that's tested and verified, because a backup without testing and verification is just a wish, it's just a dream.
Mm.
If you're not testing it, I can't tell you how many times I've seen organizations say they have a backup, but no one tested it. And when it came to that point when you really needed it,
Mhm.
no one tested it. And guess what? I seen one small um, community center that was backing up. They invested in new technology for backups. 6 months after they did that, their server crashed and they had nothing. They only got lucky because I had left a another solution in place accidentally, but they could have lost it all.
Wow. Wait, Brett. Also, before we wrap up, I think we almost left the most interesting part of this conversation. So, beyond your business, you have undergone a massive personal transformation, losing 100 pounds and
Yeah.
focus. mindset on health. So, what inspired that change, and what takeaway you would like to leave with listeners, especially who are aspiring entrepreneur or who are into business?
Yeah, and I'm really passionate about that. And first thing I want to say, what I say now instead of losing, I say I released 120 pounds because when you lose something, you find it. So I've released it forever. I hope no one finds those 120 pounds, but um, my journey on that, I've been yo-yoing, trying for a while, and I really love the outdoors. I love hiking. I love going to the gym. But it came to a point back in October 2023. I was speaking with my business coach, and I said, "Dave, I don't have time to get to the gym." He said, "Brett, you mean to tell me you own your own business and you don't have time to go to the gym?" And I said something to him that was not really polite. I was joking. We have a great relationship, but that's when everything changed. I created rapid accountability. I told my mastermind group, I posted on Facebook and socials, saying this is my journey. And that day forward, I decided going to treat me like my best client. And so I prioritize me. And like they say, when you go on a plane, they say, put your oxygen mask on first before you help others. So we have to put, as entrepreneurs, we have to make sure we put that oxygen mask on ourselves first and treat ourselves as the best client. And that way you have even more energy to serve and help people. Because I really believe we're in this game of entrepreneurship and families that we all want to help each other. So the best way we can help each other is help ourselves first. So for example, today, before I recorded, uh, I went for a 30-minute walk. And sometimes we say, "Hey, I don't have time to go for an hour or an hour and a half walk or go to the gym." Well, start with this idea. Everybody has 10 minutes. Start with taking a 10-minute walk 3 times a day. And but most importantly, recognize that you are important, just as important as everybody else. And when you do that, you can really truly have the energy to serve and help others. And it's transformed my life. And I now lead with transformational leadership where I I really work with my team and empower them to do more and buying back my time by really delegating and trusting them. In scouting, I'm a scout leader, and we have this saying, train them, trust them, and let them lead.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful, Brett. Very, very inspiring. So, if our listeners would wish to connect with you and explore more about adaptive office solutions as well, how they can.
Absolutely. You can find me on Instagram, Brett underscore Gallant, and on LinkedIn, in my website, www.adaptiveoffice.ca. Uh, and would love to connect. I do have uh, a, a document. If you DM me 15 ways, I have a document I've created, 15 ways to help your business prevent a cyber attack. And you're all welcome to, I do have my own podcast as well, the adaptivemindset.ca, where we talk about conquering limiting beliefs and quite similar to, in some ways, similar to what you do. You have a wonderful podcast. And I'm really grateful to be here with you today, but I'd love to connect. I'm here on this earth to serve, and it's just a real privilege to be able to do what I do.
Lovely. Beautiful, beautiful, Brett. Well, we'll have all the details mentioned in the show notes so that our listeners can connect with you and also get access to all the resources and can also listen to your podcast. And
Yeah.
thank you for this insightful conversation. I think, although we barely scratched the surface, but in these 30 minutes, we covered everything from your journey, cybersecurity, entrepreneurship, personal transformation. So, I absolutely love how your journey is a testament to both professional as well as personal evolution. So, thank you, Brett.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And to all of our listeners, I'm 100% confident that this conversation has connected with you, whether it's about taking control of your business or your health or your mindset. Take that next step. Just look at the other side of fear, as Brett mentioned. And growth doesn't happen overnight, but every small decision adds up to it. So, uh, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. And make sure to connect with Brett. We'll have all the links in the show notes. And until next time, this is your host, Sana, on Mind Over Matter. Thank you.